What's up, everyone? Welcome to our instant reaction episode from UTSA's commanding, impressive, overwhelming 61-13 win over the Rice Owls, homecoming win for the Roadrunners. Highest point total in program history. I think the largest point differential in a win. They set a record for defensive scoring. Long list of program records beaten in this one. Just a complete annihilation and exercised some demons. Definitely a lot of pent up frustration came out on the field for this Roadrunners team.
Tackles for loss, Jared, was the third school record that you were looking for. It's
Thank you.
points scored, defensive scores, and tackles for loss. 61-13, homecoming at that. Hispanic heritage over the Rice Owls, who got their first win in a very long time over UTSA just last year. So you're able to get that one back. But more importantly, as Jared said, you're able to exercise demons. Jeff Traylor and UTSA earn 1 week of silence from the critics. I think it's fair with 61 points to say, but you have a gauntlet coming up here with UNT, Tulane, and USF. And that's where you've got to show up, or 61 points against Rice means nothing. It's really, really good right now. But you're on Rice's fourth string quarterback. You know, you knock out their first string quarterback early in the game, and they're hobbled early. Let's call it what it is. This was great, but it's just step one, and we really need to see it against the upper class of the conference here from this UTSA Runners team. But a fantastic day, Jared. UTSA's offense in particular, who has been critiqued all season long through the first half of 2025, in particular the play calling and the offensive scheme, performs at a different speed and caliber than it ever has before, quite literally in school history, and sets a program record with 61 points. But the explosive play that, aside from Robert Henry's 75-yard runs, has been absent for the UTSA Roadrunners offense. They have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 explosive downfield or touchdown plays. Just unbelievable offensive output from an offense that had just been really struggling to have those highlight moments all year so far. What the hell happened? Did we have a difference in who's involved, who's influencing the offensive scheme, the play calling, snap by snap? Did you think so, Jared?
I don't know. I mean, the offense did look different. There were some, I wouldn't say new wrinkles because we've seen them in the past from the Roadrunners, but like new for this season. I just thought it was an offense that played with a lot less fear and trepidation than we've seen from them previously this season. It seemed like they were afraid to throw the ball deep. They didn't have a lot of confidence it would connect. And I wouldn't say it was like a short playbook because they ran a lot of gadget plays and stuff, but it didn't feel like UTSA was like really employing all the tricks up the sleeve that they had for, like I had a tweet before the game, like, what happened to the split zone run play? What happened to the tight end motion insert run play? More play action, stuff like that. And we saw UTSA bust that stuff out like immediately. Like they scored like 4 plays on that opening drive, and it was like, a deep post route to AJ Wilson for like 57 yards. And then they run the tight end motion insert play for like 15 yards. I think there was one stuff play there, and then they run split zone. Robert Henry gets in the end zone there. So it's like, yes, like where has this stuff been? There is still stuff we haven't seen yet that they did a lot of last year, like throwing up the seam to the tight end. Still haven't seen a whole lot of that. But just overall, I just thought it was an offense that looked a lot more confident in their operations. They were a lot more clean in their execution. Not that they were perfect. I think when you look at 61 points, you just think everyone did amazing and there was nothing wrong to critique. Granted, I haven't rewatched the game yet, but there were a lot of plays where like there was a free blitzer and no one had to make a play, and he was able to step up and do that. Big step forward, and also a bit frustrating because like we've been saying, this offense has been there the whole time, waiting to be unlocked. And like, why did it take this long for the offense to pop off like that when they clearly had the skill and the talent to do so?
It makes you almost more frustrated regarding the previous 3 losses on the season. Well, 2 of the 3, I suppose, right? Maybe not so much A&M. But whenever you look at a game like Texas State or a game like Temple, if this is the offense that shows up in those games, they're probably different outcomes. At least one of them is. And so, Jared, it sounds to me like you're saying this is a team that maybe played more fearlessly, more as if they didn't have anything to lose, right? Because maybe
Yeah,
so that is the point. And guys just really let it fly and played a lot more confident, a lot more inspired, passionate football, more so than what you thought changed schematically in any sort of way. Is sort of
yeah,
what
I
you're
think so. I mean, it's a mix of all of those things for sure. I'm also wondering, how much was the absence of DJ Allen and Jamal Hardy hurting the passing game as well, because they both made some big plays. DJ Allen with a really nice touchdown run. Great play from Owen to find him in between two zones, and then it's not like Allen had guys completely dripped all around him, but he was not like wide open to take it to the house, and he just used his speed, flip the field. So that kind of like yards after catch explosiveness is huge to get back. So hopefully those guys stay healthy, and hopefully some other guys come back as well, and just give Owen some extra options there.
Yeah, I think a big part of why UTSA was able to get rolling so well is because of Owen's play. He definitely had his best game of the year, just in terms of how he looked throwing the ball. Looked very comfortable back there, very natural throwing it, and he hit his guys. He hit his guys well, and that's why they were able to have a lot of that success. And everything sort of compounds, right? Quarterbacks playing well, the defense is playing really well. That's a enormous plus. And so UTSA creates a lot of havoc, right? You injure Rice's quarterbacks, you get them down to their fourth string. You're causing turnovers. You get a couple of sacks on the day. I guess maybe you'd expect more than just two of them whenever you consider how dominant the defense was. Tackles for loss, they were all over the place. So yeah, Jared, this was a huge day from the UTSA defense. What stuck out to you?
Physicality. I mean, they were just really playing downhill, right? Flying to the football, just very tough, hitting hard. I mean, that's a big reason why Rice went down to the four-string quarterback, because they were just getting drilled out there. You could sense that they were going to make the quarterbacks pay for taking that ball out of the pocket, and they were able to do so. Hopefully, a good sign with the Army game, to wrap up the season. UTSA could be, playing for bowl contention, and that one we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But I think a good sign that this, front seven is going to be ready to face another option offense, later down the road. And man, I just thought like the linebackers were incredible. Shad Banks had a 91 grade on PFF, which is totally elite. Kendrick Blackshire played really well as well. The linebackers are so crucial against that kind of option offense, and like making the right reads and all of that. So they were tremendous, and just great showing all around from the defense. I didn't see one guy out there that would pick on saying that they had a bad game.
17 tackles for loss.
And the crazy thing about that is, like, I think there were two guys had 2 tackle for loss apiece. It was like spread out across that whole defense.
It
Just sheer
was,
domination.
yeah. Complete domination by the entirety of the defense. 2 apiece from Ty Leonard and James Wally Jr. And so, yeah, think about that. Think about how many guys all got there behind the line of scrimmage and made something happen in the backfield. It's just incredible to look at the output and something about the Alamo Dome. I mean, we all thought that the Alamo Dome was going to give UTSA a winning advantage over Rice. Jared, you were there. How was the scene?
Well, it was the diehards for sure. I mean, I think it was like a 22,000 crowd, which felt right to me with what I saw, as far as butts and seats go. Student section was great. They filled that thing up at the lower level for the most part. It was really, really quiet whenever it was like a kind of lull in the action, right? It didn't have like that same kind of like base level general ambiance. But in those big moments, those big plays, like you would really hear the crowd roar. And definitely a smaller crowd, but a lot of support from the ones over there. I mean, like we've talked about this before. I mean, having a crowd of 25,000 diehards that are like really committed and like know the game and love the Roadrunners sometimes is louder than those 40,000 crowds where it's more the casual walk up fan that maybe goes to a game every other year or something like that. So I was happy with the showing, given like the frustrations that the fan base has had throughout the season. Now, Adrian, one thing that you did not see because you weren't at the game is they started doing like what I'm pretty sure is like AI generated music. Like
I
in
don't know
between
what this
plays.
means. I really don't understand. So this is like the songs that don't exist in real
Yep.
life.
Yep.
What?
So there's like AI tools that you can use to create music.
Of
So
course.
there were like 5 or 6 different songs that played, and they were like kind of like really generic sounding, almost like B-real or whatever. But then they would be like UTSA Roadrunners and stuff like that. Which like okay, here's my thing. They could have snuck it in if it was only like 1 or 2 of them, but there were so many, and it's like okay, like they definitely did not go into the recording studio
But
and
are
pump
you
out
telling me that
6
there's
songs.
not, are you telling me right now that there's not an audio tech student that is in UTSA's downtown laboratory that can really like use AI and production and sound bits from people chanting UTSA
Sure,
in
sure,
the
sure.
Alamo Dome crowd that actually exists, real audio of
Yeah.
UTSA from the Alamo Dome crowd, and then splice that over and make like a cohesive techno sort of like
Sure.
EDM type style, like hype sandstorm, like 100%
Yeah.
easily that could
Well,
be done. Like, why are we
it
paying
was
for this software that could generate like a really crappy version of it whenever you could just get a student that could probably make a masterpiece for
well,
us?
okay, so that's part of the thing is like the audio quality was too high. Like there was like no way that you could believe like it was like an actual like local recording because it sounded like pristine in the audio quality.
Even the
But
audio that was saying UTSA Roadrunners.
yeah. It was
Okay.
like too clean. It was too good, right?
Oh man, that's
But
a
it's an
shame.
interesting contrast because right before kickoff, they did a special intro video of the UTSA mariachis, and
Yes.
Alex, I
Mhm.
think is a podcast listener. He did the voiceover, and just like so much fire, so much passion in his voice, like you can tell how much that meant to him,
You can
and
feel
like
it.
that felt like our community reflected on the screen. It was like a piece of our social fabric and our humanity that was being reflected back at us, and people loved it. And very different than like an AI generated song that just happens to say the letters UTSA in them.
It feels
So
corny. Did it feel corny? Did it sound corny when you were listening to it?
a little bit. I
For
mean, I
sure,
think
right?
some of them sounded a lot better. Like the Viking one was kind of cool. I saw like pretty mixed reviews on like the actual songs themselves, but I saw a lot of people like concerned that they were like doing AI songs.
Okay. Well, how about UTSA special teams? What did you see in particular from these punt teams that have been pretty bad so far this year?
I would say overall it was the best special team showing from UTSA of the season for sure. The kickoff team was really solid. Some nice long punts. I think the only issue that we had, also a career long 45 yarder from Michael Petro, which was nice to see. A real problem that we had was Elliot Bro had a punt that he muffed and he was able to jump on it and recover it. But, that could have been a bad one for the Roadrunners. Of course, he did have a really long return as well. Rice outkicked the coverage on one of their punts, which set him up for a really nice long return. Really happy with special teams for once. For how many times they made Rice punt, it stands to reason at least one of them wouldn't be super great of a return. So
Michael Petro is 4 for 5 kicking the field goal this year. He has only missed one kick against A&M at Kyle Field in the season opener, mind you. His first game as a UTSA Roadrunner. Jeez. And let's talk about the 4 that he's made. It's been a 36-yarder, a 31-yarder, a 40, and now a 45. Okay, so they haven't been little gimme kicks for Michael Petro, and he hasn't missed a single extra point on the year. I think you give him a shot. You give him a shot to kick the
yeah,
ball a little
he's
bit
being
more.
developed. He's getting there. He's
Come
growing. They're going to
on.
need that leg.
He's
Further
been
down in conference
he's
play.
been reliable. I think it's fair to say 4 for 5. He's done his job so far. Kicking from some distance.
Yeah, you can see the trust increasing from the staff as well that they would even give him the opportunity to kick a 45-yarder.
Look, I think again, it's a great win. A really good way to exercise some demons. It's huge. You set some school records. That's massive. You do it at home. You do it at homecoming. It's like it's a massive weight lifted for this team. And I think they ought to feel extremely good about that, especially considering how well they played, how cohesively they played on offense. Haven't seen that all year. It is a very glaring silver lining of hope to have for this team going into the gauntlet. This is the absolute best result the best execution that they could have had against Rice going into the 3-game stretch that they now have in front of them after playing the way that they had played the first 5 games. Really, really brilliant turnaround. But now you've got the real measuring sticks in front of you. Again, look, let's call it what it is. Let's not lose sight of Rice being down to their 4th-string quarterback in this game.
They were also missing their top pass rusher. He was out the whole game. And then their top cornerback threw a punch and got ejected super early in the game as well. So, obviously if you win by this margin, you're doing something right. But, it did play a big factor in the level of success that UTSA was able to have. All right, Lenny, final thoughts before we wrap it up? I want to give a shout out to Will Henderson. I called in our group chat before the game. Oh, it's his birthday. He's getting his first touchdown of the season. Well, he doubled it up. He got 2. So good for him.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah, great shout out. I just think, this offense should look like this much, much earlier in the year. It shouldn't take halfway through October for us to see us firing this way. So yeah, let's get that figured out. Let's get that figured out so we're not sitting at 500 at the halfway mark.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm excited for this week. I'll be going on the Mean Green Show with Sonoy Valente tonight, so keep an eye out for that. We'll have our full episode later this week as well. And just want to say thanks to all the Patreon supporters that I ran into out of the tailgate lot. It's great seeing you guys. Thanks for the hospitality of the tailgates. And we'll see you guys back later this week.